Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Right to privacy includes which of the following rights? Right to be left alone, right to be forgotten, freedom of silence. The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of right to privacy. According to the Delhi High Court, under the right to privacy, we have the right to be forgotten and the right to be left alone. But it does not include freedom of silence, as this is part of Article 19, which speaks about freedom of expression. So the answer to this would be 1 and 2 only. So under right to privacy, we have the right to be left alone. We also have the right to be forgotten as well. So if there is a person whose data has been put on the online platforms or published by some of the newspapers, this person can report to the court of law, and the court of law may ask that particular organization to withdraw the information, which is called as the right to be forgotten. This is an aspect which is important from the right to privacy perspective. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Sambar Lake, which of the following statements is or correct? It is India's largest inland salt lake in Rajasthan. It is surrounded by Aravali hills on all the sides. Sambar has been designated as a Ramsar site. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Sambar Lake. So kindly remember, the Sambar Lake is in the state of Rajasthan, and it is very important from the preliminary examination point of view. When it comes to the second statement, it is right once again, as it is surrounded by Aravali hills on all the sides. And when we look into the third statement, yes, Sambar has been designated as a Ramsar site primarily because it acts as a host to number of migratory birds. This article says lake needs faster restoration. That is primarily because the lake has been lost to mining and other illegal activities. To bring an end to this, what we have to ensure is restore and come up with guidelines so that illegal activities does not take up in this particular lake. So kindly remember, this is one of the important lakes in Rajasthan, and it is the source of most of the Rajasthan's salt production. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Universal Postal Union. It is United Nations specialized agency. It was established by the Treaty of Rome. It is the oldest international organization worldwide. Its headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is 1 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Universal Postal Union. When you go back and look into the options, yes, it is a United Nations specialized agency. It was established not by the Treaty of Rome, but instead it is by the Treaty of Bern. Where is it headquartered? It is headquartered in Bern in Switzerland, and it is not the oldest international organization, but it is the second oldest international organization. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which is the oldest international organization worldwide. This happens to be the second oldest. Which is the first? Please put it on the comment section. Now the question is, how is the membership to this organization? When it comes to the Universal Postal Union, any member of the United Nations can become the member of Universal Postal Union. What if they're not part of the United Nations? In such a case, the country has to make a request to the Universal Postal Union, and when there are United Nations countries, two-thirds of the countries give approval. In such a scenario, a country can become part of the Universal Postal Union. So the Universal Postal Union has three important functions. It frames rules for the international mail exchange. It works as a truly universal network, updates its products and services, and at the same time, it provides recommendations for growth in mail, parcel and financial services. This article currently goes on to say that Mauritius has welcomed the UN Postal Agency's decision to ban British stamps from being used in Chagos Archipelago. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements is a right about drone rules of 2021? The total number of forms that were to be filled has been reduced. The government has done away with the need for security clearance prior to the issuance of registration or license. Foreign ownership has been discontinued. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of drone rules of 2021. When we look into the first statement, yes, the total number of forms that were to be filled has been reduced. Earlier, you had as many as 25 forms to be filled, but currently it has been reduced to about 5 forms, and at the same time, the fees that was supposed to be paid was comparatively greater in the earlier rules. This has been comparatively reduced as well. And when you look into the second statement, when the drones had to be operated, they required the clearance from the security agencies prior to the issuance of the registration as well as license. Such a permission is currently done away with as well. So the government has done away with the need of the security clearance. But when you look into the third statement, foreign ownership has been discontinued. This is a wrong statement. Why? That is because foreign ownership has been allowed under the drone rules of 2021. When you look into the drone rules of 2021, the import of drones will now be regulated by the Director General of Foreign Trade, and there will be no restriction on the foreign ownership in the drone companies. We also have a platform called as the Digital Sky platform. What is this platform all about? There are agencies which want to operate on the drones as well. This will require permission from the government. What they require is a single window licensing. So the Civil Aviation Ministry has said that the Digital Sky platform is envisaged so that there is a single platform window for the clearance of all types of rules and regulations. So if a company or an organization or an individual requires a clearance in such a condition, they have to update it on the Digital Sky platform, and this single portal will provide all types of clearances. So what is the significance of this particular rules? Basically, the minute this particular rules is in picture, we are going to help the development of the startup ecosystem. There are multiple companies in India which are operating on drones. With the restrictions now removed, the barriers now lifted, all that we have is giving boost to the startup ecosystem which works primarily on these sections. Apart from this, whenever we have the startup ecosystem which are developed, what we will give rise to is more innovation, and when there is innovation, we would be able to compete at the global level as well, and we may also have more exports as well. That is the second advantage. And third advantage is, apart from all these barriers that have been lifted, the government has also taken into picture the security aspect. What has the government done? The government has basically demarcated multiple zones. We have the green zone, we have the yellow zone, we also have the red zone as well. In those areas like the red zone, there are drones which are completely barred, they cannot be operated. So apart from giving boost to the startups, the innovations as well as the other ideas of exports, what the government has also done, it has taken the apparatus of security into picture as well. So overall, India is going to leverage from innovation, technology and engineering, making India a drone hub is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next practice question. What were the object or objects of Queen Victoria's proclamation? To disclaim any intention to annex Indian states, to place the Indian administration under the British Crown, to regulate the East India Company's trade with India. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2014. Why is the third statement wrong? According to Queen Victoria's proclamation, they did not want to regulate the East India Company's trade with India, since the option says that it wanted to, which is why the answer to this would be 1 and 2 only. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Greater Malay Connectivity Project. What is this project? This is one of the largest infrastructural projects that is being developed in Maldives along with the support of India. So basically, India is providing financial support to Maldives to create one of the long impacting infrastructural projects in Maldives. So what is this project all about? The Great Malay Connectivity Project will consist of a 6.74-kilometer long bridge causeway link between Malay and the nearby islands of Willingly, Gulhi Falhu as well as Trilafushi. So what is happening here? We have the capital of Maldives, Malé. As of now, there is a lot of density in this particular island. Most of the services are provided in this island. Hospital service and most of the services that are required is given in this particular island. As a result, the density of this particular island has increased over a period of time. So what does the government think? The government thinks that there are other unexplored islands where people have to go out. So what they require is the transport facility. So with this connection, what are we doing? We are establishing connection between Malé and willingly to the Gulhi Falhu as well as Gulhi Falhu to the Tilufushi. So basically, as of now, there is no connectivity. Even if it is there, it is only happening via the ship as well as the aircraft. But when these bridges are constructed, there will be a connectivity project, a bridge that will be constructed. As a result, people may move from Malé to other regions whereby the density in Malé will reduce, and at the same time what we will have is all these services provided in other islands as well. That happens to be the significance of this project. So basically, transport, which is a major challenge for all the residents in this particular area who are connected only by boat and seaplanes, will now go to distant islands via these connected bridges, says this article. Apart from this, when you look into the significant factor, India has always supported and developed Maldives. India is also there for Maldives whenever there is an exigency as well. And India has always been a first responder in times of an emergency in Maldives. With this infrastructural project, we would have much more economic development, trade to trade understanding between India and Maldives. Apart from this, China has also constructed number of projects in Maldives as well. So India would also be in a position to develop projects in this particular location. Thereby, our infrastructural companies would be able to operate in Maldives. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.